Greetings everybody and welcome to Miles More Motivation, the show that is designed to give you more happiness, fulfillment and obviously more motivation. In this episode we're going to talk about how do you balance ambition with being content. You know, a coaching client came to me just a couple of weeks ago and said that as a result of our coaching he was finding that his motivation in his business was kind of dropping a little. He said to me, you know, I feel so content. You've made me so aware of appreciating my family more that now I'm actually like, do I even want to do this business thing? And we kind of had a dialogue about it. We made him realize that actually what has got his family to the point that it is in terms of the wealth that they've created and the lives that they've got is a result of his hard work. And that shouldn't mean all of a sudden he stops doing that, because the facts are, if you live in the West, if you don't work, you know, they're going to come away and take your TV and take your house, right? So unless you're living in the East and you can just afford to live without having things and having money coming in, then it's really important that we know how to balance having ambition, having drive, having that kind of hustle, if you like that term. I'm not a big fan of that term, but having that kind of drive and that hunger with being content, with being grateful. How do you do that? In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 ways that I've found to balance being ambitious with being content. But before I do, I want to kind of share with you a quick story, which is actually a fable. You maybe have heard this before, about the investment banker and the Mexican fisherman. The story goes, forgive me for not getting it exactly word for word, but an investment banker goes to a Mexican town for a much needed vacation. And as he arrives into the dock, he crosses paths with a Mexican fisherman who's got a really impressive catch. To which the investment banker says, wow, that's some impressive fish you've got there. Like, how long did it take you to catch that fish? And the Mexican fisherman says, a little while, not too long. And the investment banker says, well, why didn't you stay out longer? To which the Mexican fisherman said, well, I've got to get back to my family. You know, I've got a beautiful life at home, and I spend the evenings, kind of drinking whiskey and talking stories with my family, and and playing with my kids. And the investment banker was like, well, that's really cool, but you can make some real serious money with this. The Mexican banker's like, well, what do you mean? And the investment banker says, well, you could, if you stayed out longer, you could buy some more boats. And then that would allow you to grow and get a fleet of boats. And then eventually what you could do is you could move from here to then starting to transport your fish and selling it to other towns and cities around the world. So the Mexican fisherman said, how long would that take? And the investment banker says, that'd take about 10 or 15 years. And then the Mexican fisherman says, and then what? To which the investment banker says, well, then you would be able to move to a small fishing village, retire, play with your kids, and just drink whiskey and chill out with your friends and family all day. So the point of this story is that often the things that we are pursuing, the things that we want, we already have. And so it's really important to know that goals and dreams and ambition, no one is right in this story. The Mexican fisherman, the investment banker, no one is right or wrong in this parable. You take what that you get from that story. But for me, I feel that if you live in the West, it's so important to balance ambition and contentment. So I want to share with you how I do that. So the first way that I find for you to balance ambition and being content is to have what I call a bucket list board. The fact is, life is short. As cliche as that sounds, life is short, and it's so important that you make sure you go through this life living it on your terms and fulfilling your wildest dreams. One of my coaching clients the other day said that his parents are in their 70s. He kind of had a conversation with them about their dreams and goals, and it turns out they've always wanted to go to the Inca Trail in Peru but have never got round to it. And as a result of that conversation, they're now looking at brochures and are looking at going to Peru next year. So when you are clear about what is on your bucket list and you have a board, so for instance in our kitchen, we have a board with pictures and writing on of all these things that we want to do, kind of wildest dream stuff, where we want to live, where we want to travel, this big board. So when I come into the kitchen, kind of like stand back like a person in an art gallery and kind of just look at this board and reconnect with my bucket list dreams. It's motivating, and it fuels my ambition. It gives me motivation. So if you don't have that, I highly recommend that you do that. Next, following on with what I've just talked about with you about my friend, my client and his parents wanting to go to Peru, you need to have more consistent dream dialogue. Now, what we mean by dream dialogue is actually having the courage and the confidence to speak out your dreams with other people in your life. Very few people that I come across when I initially start coaching them have regular conversations about dreams with the people that they're closest to. And the reason is because they're worried that they're going to judge them. They're worried that they're going to think that, well, why do you want that? Why don't you just stay as you are? You see, because most people are content with the life that they have, but most people also have dreams that they wish they could do. But because they get so caught up in thinking, yeah, but I don't know how to do it. Yeah, but I can't afford to go to Peru, so what's the point in thinking about it? Instead of getting really clear on why they would want that experience and actually talking it out. Because I know from experience that when I speak out loud what my dreams are, I've got this ambition, got some pretty big ambitions over the next 12 months, the events I want to run, the courses I want to create, the books I want to write, the podcasts I want to have. When I speak that out to the world, not only does it motivate me, because I'm very conscious of who I speak it to, I find that it fuels the ambition in the people that I speak to. They're like, yeah, I want to dream big as well. So for me, a recommendation would be find some people that you know that you can have dream dialogue with that will reciprocate, or at the very least will not just kind of pour cold water on your dreams. You don't want to be having dream dialogues with people who are just going to say, you say, oh, you know what, I want to run a marathon, and they're like, oh, yeah, but you've heard about people running marathons and people die running marathons. It's like, yeah, and thousands of people also have life-changing experience as a result of running marathons, right? So it's really important that you have dream dialogue, but choose wisely who you have it with, because you don't want to have people kind of making you feel that you can't make it happen. And the last thing that you want to do to balance ambition with contentment is what I call having an appreciation log. An appreciation log is effectively on a daily basis, I will first thing in the morning write down about 20 things that I'm appreciative and grateful for. It is so important to pursue your bucket list, to have dreams, to have goals, but if you don't stop to kind of smell the roses and appreciate what you already have, when you achieve that thing, you achieve that experience in the Inca Trail in Peru, you'll never enjoy it as much as you would if every day you were appreciating the little things. I know a lot of people that will say they don't want to go for big things because they're already grateful. They're already grateful for what they've got, and that's great. But the facts are that if we're not growing, we're dying. So ambition, especially if you live in the West, is an important part. But however, ambition without being appreciative of what you've already got will just see you keep achieving. And like Tony Robbins says, success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. The people that are achieving great things but are not enjoying it, I'll be happy when I'm making this much money, I'll be happy when I'm doing this, are people that are in ambition but are not in contentment. And the best way for you to feel successful, fulfilled, and happy on a regular basis is to do both. All right, do both. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, feel free to click share, click like, and book yourself in for a coaching call as well. There should be a link somewhere underneath the video for you to get booked in for a complimentary coaching call. These calls are worth £299. Clients include people that are in Hollywood movies, MMA fighters, CEOs of multinationals. Completely no obligation, free coaching call. Go ahead and get booked in. That's it. Miles More Motivation. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have, see you next time. Take care.